Good evening, everybody. Back to another segment of my hero series. I've been talking in all the last 6 videos about what a hero does, how a hero saves the day, and what they would do in our modern world. What I'd like to talk to and touch about today is the why do they do that? Maybe it's not exactly what a hero does, but what drives them to do it. What inspires a hero to act the way that they are? I'm going to start with a couple examples here, some from real life and some from some myths and other heroes' tales. I'm going to start with some of the Avengers. Let's talk about Loki, one of my favorite characters, the trickster god, right? If you look at the Norse myths, even in the Avengers movies, I listened to an audiobook of Gaiman's Norse myths, and I've read another, Crosser in Holland, I believe, and he's never doing something to help somebody else. It's all about getting more comfort for him, an easier life, or more power for him. Not what you'd call selfless motives. Not what you call pure motives. Let's look at his brother Thor, though. Thor, he's this classic kind of medieval character who's all about his kingdom and keeping the power and glory of his kingdom, Asgard, and who was his father's kingdom, and probably his father's before him kingdom. I'm not sure exactly how far goes that back. I guess I'm not as big a Norse mythology nerd as I thought I was, but it's all about the glory of Asgard. And when that's threatened, his motive is almost always vengeance. It's almost always about getting revenge. Not exactly what I call a pure motive. Who else? Iron Man, another one of my favorite characters. And those of you that have watched the entire series all the way through kind of know how that ends and how his character changes throughout. When he starts off, though, he perfectly describes himself. Captain America asks, "Take off the suit, buddy. Who are you? What have you got? Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, genius?" And the Black Widow kind of gives "Oh, yeah, not bad." But does he act from pure motives and what he's doing? Is he looking for a way to save the world? Is he trying to make things better for himself? There's definitely some revenge in there. There's also definitely some good motives, certainly you would say, trying to protect people from the weapons that his own industry is stopping. But his motives really are interesting and change as we go throughout the series. All right, let's talk Thanos. Motives. Help 50% of the universe to survive and to thrive. Problem is, I suppose I would say, he's not trying to help 100% of the people. In his view, he can only help. There's only resources available to help half of the people. Quite the sad compromise. And maybe he was torn up about this more. It'd be interesting to read the comic books and see how torn up he was, or how long it took him, or what his process was of making that decision, and when did he finally click that, oh, this is the only solution that there is. Pure motives? I'll let you decide on that one. Captain America certainly is the one who most people would say has the most pure motives. He's such the underdog character, helping the little guy. So that's enough for the Avengers. Let's look at some other ones. Let's go with James Bond, for example. I remember a year ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, we were watching James Bond Skyfall in the theaters with my friend. And probably 20 minutes in, there's all the guns and shooting, and he's, shows him starting to romance a woman, and then it kind of fades away, and you know what's going to happen. And there's the alcohol, the shaken, not stirred, the gambling, all this kind of stuff. My buddy turned to me and he's like, "Imagine what that would be like. A life without consequences. Just enjoying all that pleasure." And I thought, life without consequences. That's James Bond. Doing everything for king and country, or for queen, I suppose, and country. What are his motives? Trying to protect the crown. He certainly gets some fringe benefits on the way there. Switching over to Disney, Mulan is one of my favorite Disney movies. She's just awesome, and the motive is she's got to break the law to do this. And we don't understand exactly in our culture how serious the decision is that she made to dishonor, and they make this up big they play it up big in the movie, this incredible shame and dishonor she's brought to her family with the motive of saving her father's life. This older guy that almost certainly in armed combat would fall because he's just too old to fight. Let's take a look at some political figures. Let's talk Obama. We talked about Obama and Trump in my last video. Obama had some strong motives. The slogan "Love wins." He wanted people to be able to love freely and love who they wanted to. He wanted people to marry whom they wanted to. Good thing or bad thing, you'll decide, but certainly he wanted people to love. Love is not a simple thing to talk about. A lot of people held up those signs that said "Love wins." Their version of love may be different from somebody else's definition of love, the traditional love or traditional view of marriage. President Trump, pure motives. I will say that he's our president and he's done some good things for the country. He's had some small tax breaks, brought back some steel working jobs. What are his motives? I won't get too political and divisive, but I'll let you think about what are his motives for what he's doing. If you haven't seen the movie Vice, I'd strongly recommend it. About Vice President Cheney playing on that double entente of vice, like sin, and vice president. A fantastic movie that you certainly get the feeling of, and they address this very well in the end with a focus group and with Cheney's soliloquy at the very end there. But what kind of a person is Dick Cheney? What kind of person was he? Were his motives pure? Whom was he trying to help with all of his actions? Please go watch the movie Vice. It's simply a fantastic film. Let's talk about two other historical figures, and then one more modern day. It's kind of a broad category. But let's talk about Jesus. You know me. I'm not going to avoid talking about him. What were his motives? He started a movement, revolutionary, gained 1 billion followers just in the Catholic Church, then just about another 1 billion Protestant followers. A third of the world, just under a third of the world is following him. Were those his motives? Is that what he wanted? Look at his actions. He healed people. He cured them. He told us that he did it for love of us and for love of his Father. He claimed to have pure motives. I'll let you read some of the Gospels and decide what you think Jesus' motives were. We do know he created us. Then what has he done with us since then? And how did he treat us? Take a look and see. You probably already know what I think. I've been listening to the audiobook of The Trial and Death of Socrates, written by Plato. It's fantastic. I've got it on the Libby app and am renting it through the Council Bluffs Library with my Council Bluffs Library card. It's fantastic. And it really gets into what pure motives, well, not really what pure motives are, but looking at Socrates, why did he do what he did? Why did he keeps claiming that everyone's accusing him of, and he almost is admitting, I think, that he's almost abandoned his family and his children. What were his motives for doing that? Why do we have this Socratic method that's listed after him? Did he want that? Was he thinking that his method, his wisdom, his way of questioning and discerning, and his philosophy, his way of doing philosophy, did he want to give that gift to the world? And if so, why? He claims that he's seeking truth, and that's the goal of all philosophy, is to separate the soul from the bad, the evil body that wants just pleasure. And we want to have this separation so we can just achieve truth. And that's the overall goal of the soul. What Socrates is, what is his motive for sharing that with us? Last kind of people I'll talk about with motives are teachers. I'm a teacher. I enjoy doing what I do. What's my motive? What's the motive of all teachers? One thing that you can immediately get rid of, obviously, is the pay. Teachers are not in this for the pay, as you probably know. Why do we do what we do? Do we do it so we can coach and do extracurriculars? Do we do it because it's a steady job? The classic joke is, What are the best 3 things about teaching? June, July, August. So, why do teachers do what they do? Why do you think I do what I do? I really struggled with this the last few years. What exactly am I doing as a teacher? What difference am I making? And sometimes it seems like you're not doing any good. People tell you you're just planting seeds. Just keep doing it. Just planting seeds. Eventually they'll grow. You might not see the result, but hopefully 10 years down the road, you get that email. You get that student that comes back and says, hey, you made a difference in my life. You're a good role model. You helped affect the person I was now. It's rarely, I'm really glad you taught me English and taught me good writing skills. I'm really glad you taught me how to solve these equations. No, those probably aren't the things. We need to teach that. That's our job to teach that. But why do we really do what we do as teachers? What are our motives in doing that? For me, it's definitely trying to affect students and try to get them to heaven, as we all say. That's the goal, is to keep them safe and get them to heaven, and certainly teach them the skills that they need and the content that they need to go and be successful in their career, and help them discern what their vocation is so they can serve God in the best way they can. So, I'll leave you with this. What exactly does it mean to have pure motives? What does it mean if a motive is pure? And who decides that? If there is a pure motive, how do we know it's pure? And is that pure for everybody? Or is that relativistic, that some people would say that's a pure motive and some people wouldn't? Let me know in the comments what you think. It's been good. I enjoyed doing this post, and I've got some serious thoughts, so I hope you like it. I hope to get some good comments. Talk to you next time.